Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. So today we're taking a look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max leather case, and this is the replica MagSafe cases that I ordered from AliExpress. So I ordered these quite a while back, but these ones took quite a long time to actually arrive. So as you can see, we have the saddle brown 12 Pro Max case and the product red 12 Pro Max case. In terms of packaging, it looks exactly like the real thing. Both of them do come with a tear strip just there. So what I'll do is, and what I've done is I've ordered a brown, saddle brown for my iPhone, and the red one is for my wife's iPhone. So what I'll do is I'll get this one opened. Yeah, that doesn't work very well. So in terms of copying the tear strip, they didn't do a very good job on that. Right, so to get it out, you just pull straight up. And first impressions, I can see some scratches on it. Nothing else in this sleeve, so we'll pop that to the side. So as you can see, we do have some scratches already in the actual case. Just lifting that off, as you can see there, we have the very bright ring for the MagSafe. Taking a look at the actual case itself, in terms of buttons, so they don't appear to be metal, despite being advertised as being metal, but we will see how clicky they are, because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. In terms of fit and finish, I'm just taking a look around the case, and it all appears to be okay. In terms of the magnets, there is a little lip, so it does raise slightly. Unlike the silicone cases, this one does appear to actually raise up slightly. In terms of the Apple logo, I was pretty sure that it was meant to be slightly darker, but it just seems to be embossed and nothing else. What I'll do is I'll grab a iPhone that I can actually fit into this, and we'll be back. Okay, so here we are back with the gold 12 Pro Max, and what I'll do is I'll just pop this in, and firstly we'll see how easily it actually goes on. So in terms of fitting the case, not very easily, and to be honest, it doesn't really fit in all the way around. Okay, so in terms of buttons, they are very clicky, so I'll just test this off screen. So you can just hear it. Volume buttons are not very good at all. So this is volume up, this is volume down, and that's the power button. So the volume buttons on this are quite bad. In terms of access for the mute switch, once again, not very good. Initial impressions is I'm not very impressed by this at all. In terms of the slimness of the case, however, it does appear to be about the same, if not slightly slimmer on the sides than the silicone case. Well, actually, first impressions, I thought it was actually slimmer. When I actually put them side by side, it does appear to be just a touch wider, but I do prefer the feel of the leather compared to the silicone. So what I'll do now is I'll just pop out the red one, and we'll take a look at this one, see how this one performs. Once again, the tear strip is pretty awful. See, it tore in exactly the same way. So yes, they've tried their best to copy the tear strips, but they've not done a very good job on that front. Right, so pop that out. Right, and in terms of the colour, I'm not sure how well this is going to come across. On the phone screen, it looks almost cherry red. This, well, a more rosy red. This is more of a sort of cherry colour. So if we put both of these side by side, it's got a tiny bit more sheen to it. What I'll do is, seeing as this is the one that I actually ordered for my wife, I'll get this one out. Okay, so that is not very easy to take out. So I don't know whether that's the same for the genuine cases, but on this, it's pretty hard getting the actual phone out of the case. Right, this one seems to fit a bit better on this particular phone. So buttons wise, yeah, they're not too bad. Power button is actually the best out of all the buttons. The volume buttons seem to be almost like they're stuck together. There doesn't seem to be much separation between them. So that was the sound for the volume buttons. You might not even been able to hear it. And this is the power button. So as you can see, there's a much more definitive click to that. In terms of look and feel, as I say, I was expecting the Apple logos to actually be a different shade. To be honest, I've not really paid a lot of attention to the genuine ones, so I don't know whether they do actually have a darker Apple logo or not. What I might do is just pop onto the App Store and take a look and see if they do actually look the same. So what I'll do now is I'll just quickly grab some MagSafe wallets and we'll see how. So here we are back with some MagSafe wallets, and if we just throw them on, as you can see, they do grip on reasonably well. That one's a bit better. I think it helps having the actual phone in there rather than just the actual case alone. However, I have got some bad news to report. So I've just tested that particular case on my wireless charger, my MagSafe wireless charger, and it doesn't work. So it doesn't actually detect the phone. I also tested it on the MagSafe Duo, and once again it did not work on that either. So at the moment it looks like these cases do not work with MagSafe. So what I'll do is I'll take this one out, I'll give this back to my wife because she's wanting this back at the moment, and I'll just go and test this phone, the 12 Pro Max, my 12 Pro Max, on the same MagSafe chargers. And basically one of them is a genuine one, one's a replica from AliExpress again, but at the moment it looks like they're not working with MagSafe charging. Okay, so I'm back, and it was a slight false alarm. I say slight because once I actually tried it with my phone and I really wedged it into the case, then it did actually work with MagSafe. However, what that does do is it highlights the fact that unless your phone's fully seated in here, the gap and the distance between where the MagSafe charger actually snaps onto and where your phone's charger actually wants to be, it's basically exceeding that. So basically when you've got this case, you need any of these cases, you need to make sure that your phone's really pushed in. Once you've done that, as I said when I first fitted it, the top lip, what you want to feel is you want to feel this actually have a lay on the table design. So you want this higher than the actual phone screen. Initially when I tried my wife's phone, it wasn't like that. Now the other thing that obviously I was having a problem with was the volume buttons, and as you can see here, what they've done is they've just used this like single strip, and they're not metal buttons unlike what it's advertised as being. They are plastic, and when you're pushing it, it's very mushy feeling on the volume buttons. Now once I've pushed it in fully, it did function correctly, so the volume buttons did actually function properly. However, they didn't, they're not like even the silicone cases that I've actually got on my phone at the moment, which are really good. The volume buttons and the tactile feedback that you get from those is really good, whereas on these, basically, it's really mushy. And to be honest, I was expecting these to be better because these should have had metal buttons. So I'll need to recheck the actual listing to see what that's actually like. As you can see down here, it's already got some damage on this tiny little bit here. I've not really noticed on the other one. That one doesn't appear to be as bad. Initial impressions are, I would not recommend this product for the simple reason that the buttons aren't good enough. And also the fact that it didn't function first time around for MagSafe. I wouldn't really recommend somebody doing this because the whole point of MagSafe is it works every time without you having to think about it. Now, if you have to think, oh, is my phone fully seated into the case before it'll actually start to charge essentially, then that defeats the purpose. The other thing is obviously once you've actually put it into the case and taken it out, you require so much force to actually put it in and take it out. As you can see, it causes ripples and it causes bends in certain places of the case, and the volume buttons are a deal breaker for me. So the volume buttons on this are so bad. It's almost similar to some of the previous cases that I actually had that I really liked, really slim cases, but I wouldn't use on a daily basis for the simple reason that the volume buttons are terrible. And pretty much with these it's the same thing. The volume buttons on both of these are just awful. What they're meant to have is metal buttons, and even if they didn't have it separated on this section here, what they should have done is added at least some sort of a ridge or something where it'll actually give you slightly better tactile feedback. Obviously, by going all the way like this, it means that both buttons essentially have pressure on them, because once you've put your phone in here, it's effectively pressing out against that button. That's why the power button has a really good click, because you basically just touch it and it's got that instant tactile feedback where it actually clicks in. Whereas on these ones, essentially the only parts that are working are the very top and the very bottom. So essentially what it's doing is it's pushing the button in at an angle, which is never going to give you the correct feedback. So personally, I would not recommend these cases to anybody. I would probably suggest, if you did want one of the leather cases, to just pay the money and buy the genuine one, because the drop off between what I would expect from the genuine one and what you're getting here is far too much. It's too many things that are actually wrong with these. Now the alternative would be, if you did want to try and find some cheaper ones on AliExpress or similar sites, then I would basically get them to send you pictures of the exact cases. In this case, they did actually do that, and they did actually confirm. I'm pretty 90% sure that they did actually confirm that it had metal buttons, because that's one thing I always ask about the leather cases. But as you can clearly see, these are plastic. Whilst the power button's fine, the volume buttons are a deal breaker. And then obviously the fact that you literally have to fight with these in order to get your phone in and out. I would have actually trimmed this video down quite a bit, because I didn't want to actually leave all of that in. But each time I put my phone in these, it's been a real struggle to actually get these out again. So unfortunately, that is a very low note to actually end on when it comes to AliExpress items. I don't believe I have anything else coming in terms of cases for any of my products. So unfortunately, once again, AliExpress have let themselves down in terms of promising a product and failing to actually deliver. And considering the price difference, because the other thing with these was I was charged import tax because the seller actually put quite a high listing price. I've never previously been charged import tax on any phone cases. So once you actually add that on, it's not getting close to a genuine one, but in terms of the trade-offs that you get in terms of quality, I wouldn't suggest these at all. So personally, I would suggest for the leather cases, if you're interested in leather cases, to either buy direct from Apple or just buy a third-party one that won't have the Apple logo on it, but will at least have everything else working correctly. The biggest thing for phone cases for me, I found recently, is the tactile feedback that you get from the buttons. The feel of these, to be fair to them, was really good. I do like the feel of them. However, the lack of feel and the lack of tactile feedback from the buttons, unfortunately, is a deal breaker. So it is ending on a low. I do still have loads of other videos planned, so obviously if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the channel. Also hit that bell icon, that way you don't miss out on any videos. I've had a lot of comments from people saying they wish they would have seen a particular video beforehand because they've either ordered something or they've missed out on something. So obviously hit that bell icon, that way you'll be notified, and that way you can watch the video as soon as it goes live. And other than that, thanks very much for watching.